30 seconds to ask the question and 2 minutes for each of the candidates to answer. Okay, next. Sure, yeah, Phil.
Just one thing I think is relevant because it's good information for everybody to take home with them tonight. Something when we talk about money, we're all talking about money. It's great. We have lots of it. It's communities that look a little different. One thing I do want to say is the town of Morrison is a very blessed place. Okay? And when I say that, the money that's available out there, and the reason I know this is my life, thank you. Morrison has a very high median household income. The bond issues and some of the grants that are available out there to be gotten for communities like this, we don't qualify for, guys. This town makes, per household, makes too much money.
And match money from the city.
And that is exactly right. And the city doesn't have enough funds to be able to do a lot of match money to make a lot of some of those projects come in that are specifically for building and improving pools and ballparks and places for our kids to, do different kinds of activities. So I just want to throw that out there because everybody's always like, well, the government's got all this money out there. Why are we getting our share of it? That's one of the reasons, and it's a big reason. This town has been very blessed, and that's a good thing. But we do have to come up with other avenues to generate cash flow for the community to be able to grow in some of these aspects and some of the needs and wants that everybody would like to have. I'm not going to do it. So let's sort of throw that out there.
Okay, next question.
So my question is in regards to communication, because it has been noted that the city council meetings, there's a lack of attendance. I look around and we see how many people are in this building, and you guys have been on your candidacy for over a month, and we've had one letter sent out. We have social media. We're a small community. We've had community events. What are you going to do to change the communication? I live on 848 Oklahoma Street, and my neighbors know who I am. My neighbors across the street know who I am. On Mary Street, they know who I am. What's going to happen to change the communication in this small town?
Okay, we're starting with Sean.
Yeah, I think we start with me. That is a problem that I face, obviously, as well. Not knowing when or if meetings have changed. It's hard to find information out there about the community until recently. I think he was doing a great job of getting things back in line. So there was a long lapse of communication between our members of the community and the leadership of which meetings were held or town events. And I do stress that same concern. Social media obviously is power right now. Everybody seems to have a phone and has a social media account. Andrea had started a Facebook page and has been keeping up with the Facebook page. So if you guys are not following the Facebook page here at Morrison, make sure you, whenever you guys go home today, make sure you follow that page because it's super important to get information out. Obviously, we can post meetings and whatnot on top of the window at the city council, but not everybody's going to go look at the city hall window. Frankly, I'm not sure how many people it does, but I would assume not that many go to the window to get their information. Most of the information that everybody received today obviously is through mail. Social media is king in today's world. But I do think we need to send out operation letters and be more engaged with the community as we move forward. I would love to see everybody's and listen to everybody's concerns so that we can get a future vision and goal of the community moving forward. The people sitting in this room all have some similar views, some different views, and that's great. That's what makes communities grow. I would love to have everybody's attendance in those meetings discussing what and how they would like operations and the community to advance in the future. I think that's what makes us grow. My time is up. So Elizabeth, that is a real challenge, but I would say this is an excellent example. I assume this is being
No, I,
recorded.
In the process.
it will be there eventually.
Okay. It shouldn't be that hard for us to at least video and repost our meetings, so people at least know what's going on. And one of the things that's happening really right now is high-speed internet's coming, fiber internet's coming into the community, which should help, alleviate some of that issue. It will still be a cost, but I think if we can get to the point where we can start, maybe not live streaming, but at least recording meetings and putting them out there so people know what the town is doing. I mean, some of the things we talked about here this evening that the whole community should know. It should be second nature that this is happening, or that we've contacted the ball fields, the school for operation, and things like that, so that it doesn't have to be a repetition. But yeah, communication is a big issue, and technology is. I really can't talk to you about social media. I don't even have a Twitter account anymore. So, but those are the kind of things that interaction, it does need to improve, and hopefully we can move towards that in the not too distant future.
I think these gentlemen have already spoken for what needs to happen. There ain't much left for me to say.
Okay, Dr. Hilbig?
I think what's been said is good. I think you also need to understand not 100% of your people are going to get information off social media.
Right.
So you need to make sure that you're reaching out to the portion of your community that doesn't rely upon Facebook or some other social media for their information. You know, if that means you post it in the post office, if that means you mail it out, it's an additional cost to mail it out, but people who are going to be interested are going to reach out and look for it. You just need to be able to have where it's at. But don't rely on it being all on social media.
Go ahead, Brett.
Correct. Not everybody gets on social media. Not everybody uses email. Not everybody uses their phone. So you definitely need to be able to cater to everybody in the community. Currently, all of our council meetings are currently listed on our website. So you should be able to find them on the Town of Morrison website. They have been posted since the beginning of the year, if not prior to the beginning of the year. Now they won't update if there is a change in meeting date, but they have been listed there since the beginning of the year. Something as far as communication is concerned, I think that our website could use a little bit of updating, but I think that that's a cost issue too, but it needs some updating. As far as technology is concerned, we have an abundance of technology, and with the internet coming into town that's faster, we should be able to instantly live stream. We should be able to allow you to be able to be in a council meeting without ever leaving your home, and then be able to go back and see that same council meeting. We should have our meetings be able to go onto our website. You should be able to see the meetings from that council meeting. There's a lot of things you can do on social media that should be readily available if you want to see it. Also be able to access it by coming into City Hall and being able to say, hey, can I see that? Yep, here it is.
Sean? What? Oh,
Okay, and I would be remiss if I didn't explain one piece of information here. If we post anything on the internet to social media, legally, everything that we do has to be posted to social media. So if we start, we can't back up.
And it's website, social media, like we would be in legal.
Legally
That's
bound
fine.
to
And-
continue doing it once we start.
Let's do it through the mail then.
I agree. And doing mail, the letter that I wrote and sent out, it is somewhat expensive. It is definitely time consuming to try to put all that together, trifold, stuff envelopes, get all the addresses on there. I mean, you guys take apart all of that letter, and that was me, Andrea, and my mom putting that together. So it does take a little bit of time to do.
We need to move ahead.
there's an element of the population that's ready to move ahead, and there's a whole bunch of our town that's not, Kathy. So, I mean,
It all
we kinda
comes
have
down
do
to
both.
money, and it don't get here on its own.
Okay, so, next question. Come on up here.
What, is that wrong? Okay, what do you see of the role of the Morrison senior citizens?
The role being continued growth or development, or are you talking about, to be honest with the court, I'd like to see a better facility for them to operate out of, but we go way down that hole in that situation. That whole area, really needs, got a lot of vision, but, there's only so much there's only so many bites at the apple before you're down to the core. And I don't know that updating the fire station, providing a solely purposed facility for the seniors is a reality in the near future, but that would be an ultimate goal, a vision, so to speak. Something that you guys could utilize for yourselves and not have to worry about sharing it.
I'll throw this out. Morrison has the only medically or health center approved senior citizen that I've been at. And so as far as updating our facilities, we've done a lot with grants doing that. But, down the road, what do you think we should be doing? We need to improve on. What do we have in the way of Morrison senior citizen? All you people that get old, what you got to look forward to?
Including me.
A lot of dedicated volunteers. That's what it really takes. And so many of this Lions Club, auxiliary, you name it. It just takes a lot of dedicated caring citizens to make sure, such as yourself, to make sure that those type of entities are strong and vibrant. A lot of folks here remember that we had a very, very active and exceptional first responders for many, many years. And unfortunately, the realities financially, that kind of an endeavor are just, they're not a reality, but the seniors definitely has a lot of longevity in legs, and with the support of the community, we can get to that point where you guys have your own dedicated facility, in my opinion.
I'm not sure what we're gonna be able to do in the immediate future for the senior citizens. The building that they're currently using is in poor repair. I mean, it needs some attention. I don't know who you could get to approach, to volunteer, to put that back together, or if you need to hire someone. I'm not sure how that needs to go. If the seniors have any money to put into it, you can hire somebody. Or you can just find a bunch of people that want to volunteer for it. I would volunteer for it to a degree. I mean, I'm retired. I don't have anything to do. I can come help somebody.
To you, Doug. To you, Dr. Hilbig.
Yes. I mean, I think that's gonna be something you have to look long-term at. Short term, it's gonna take money. Long term, you just have to prioritize, as far as things that your community needs, is that, do we have to update our fire department? Do you have to update your park system? You have to update your pool? You have to update your senior citizen centers? These are all part of the things that a community has. Eventually, you're gonna have to have a police department. Eventually, you're gonna have to have all of these things, and they have to be looked at long-term. It's what your city council technically does. I have a short-term issue, and I have to deal with I have to anticipate what I'm gonna deal with in 10 years. Your alternative is, if I can't spend money I don't have, but if it's an emergency, I have to take care of it, if we're an emergency, that means we didn't allocate something at some point, or we just didn't have the revenue. We need a long-term plan and have to deal with all of these.
I keep hearing the statement, we don't have the revenue.
Amen.
And that's, hold on a second, we're not finished. Go ahead, Brett.
We're finished.
I'll let you finish that question.
I don't think you can.
We need to keep going, because we're almost out of
Be the
time.
next question.
I don't understand because I don't know what I don't know about the senior citizen center. I know that when I'm there at the fire station, specifically on Thursdays, I know that there are some weeks are more than others, but I don't know what your expectation is from me, to be honest with you. I really don't know. But I would love to have that conversation with you about what you would expect, what I could do to help you. So that's my answer.
Yeah, this is some good points. You know, I do think that a long-term goal on situations of repair obviously comes with finances, and obviously the finance question up top. But as far as the community center and helping the community as a whole, I know that we had done away with our first responders. And frankly, I had some family and some friends that were really involved in that first responder process when we got in Morrison, and I thought that was an extremely beneficial thing to have in our community. And excuse my lack of knowledge of the reason why we canceled that first responders, but I would be interested in seeing the financial side of it, because I wouldn't mind seeing that come back as a
I can tell you, it had nothing to do with money. It had to do with the active people that were qualified to run it. That's
Okay.
That is it. We would have it
Qualified
today
members.
if there were people here to operate it.
So, yeah, so qualified members, I've watched this community come together. I've watched the roles of some of the community members firsthand, and I would love to give them the opportunity again to operate a first responders and try to bring that back. And like I said, we're gonna go through hurdles on this deal, but I would love to give the opportunity for that first exercise.
I think it's imperative. A first responder saved my life in Morrison, Oklahoma. I think that is imperative. I know that you'd love to see that
There's a
happen.
first responder who saved my daughter's life on that board. There's a first responder sitting right there who came down the street on foot and brought my 9-year-old back out of, it was the worst traumatic day of my life. But I'm letting you know right now, he's sitting right there. He's not boasting about it, he's not trumpeting about it, but I am. He's a first responder, he's a volunteer firefighter, it's all volunteer.
Yeah. Okay, we need to move on. Next.
All right.